Thank you for tapping in with Voice Within, presented by G.R.E.Y. Here's the next episode.
Introduce yourself to everybody.
Absolutely. My name is Billy Ray Cole, a.k.a. Cisco X.
Yes, sir. Nice for joining us, Cisco.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
And we're in your office at Supreme Felons.
Yes, sir.
And the motto is each one, teach one. Reach one, teach one.
Reach one, teach one.
We're going to get to that.
Do that one time.
Yes, sir. Reach one, teach one. And you, like myself, you serve time.
Yes, sir.
How many years did you do?
I've done 43 years, 11 months, and 23 days. I keep telling. I don't claim those 7 days because I didn't do them. So
yes, sir.
It's 43, and those days and those months.
That's a lifetime.
Ooh.
Yes. From Ipsy.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what led up to your incarceration?
Well, truth of the matter, I came to prison when I had just turned 18. Prior to that, I felt the life that I wanted to be affiliated with was the life that I was seeing around me, and those that was getting money around me. So I wanted to put myself in that arena, not knowing the side effects of when you make choices like that. At least I didn't know then.
And you were sentenced to what?
I was sentenced to second-degree life for a murder, and I was given 60 to 90 years for the armed robbery, which all was in the commission of one crime.
How old was you?
At the time, I was a month from turning 18. I turned 18 in May. I caught the case in June.
Yes. So I was 17. So what was your mindset like going in? Because that's a young age, 17 to 18, and we think we're growing out here, but getting thrust in there, it's a whole different atmosphere.
Well, the truth of the matter, Malachi, I had no idea what my experience in the Michigan Department of Corrections was going to consist of prior to getting there. I had never been locked up before. I hadn't even had a traffic ticket. But nevertheless, looking back and understanding the truth that's been put before me today, I understand that Allah prepared me for that stay in there. And I mean in terms of family. I come from a family of 8. I am the 7th of 8. So I had 3 older brothers and I had 3 older sisters. So as siblings, you never know the lessons that you're learning from your older brothers and older sisters until a time comes where you got to exhibit that. So that, my siblings, and being raised in a household with a mother and a father that worked every day, a mother that was home every day, the choices that I made had nothing to do with them. And I say that even though we know scientifically that the mind doesn't develop into full form until a young man is 26 years old. I was 18, but I must not sit here and tell you that my choices was made because of my upbringing at that time. It was a choice that I chose to do, and I chose to be a part of.
How did your time inside shape you as a person?
Well, truthfully, that's what I was getting up to. What was installed in me through my youth, through my upbringing in my own household, prepared me for a majority of the trials and tribulations in which I encountered in prison. And that's men against men, men affiliated with men. I never had a problem with being around men. There was no fear in my heart or mind or soul with dealing with men. So prison gave me an understanding of that everybody ain't like me. Everybody ain't gonna be loyal to me because I'm loyal to them. Everybody ain't gonna put they self on the line because we're friends. I learned to understand that early in my incarceration, that all those that say they cool with you ain't necessarily cool with you, and you gonna understand that if the opportunity ever comes where they gotta choose between their homeboy or your friendship and relationship.
So, of course, you spoke about loyalty, brother, which brings me to the Melanic Islamic Palace, the Rise of Sun.
Yes, sir.
So that was my introduction into Islam before I made my transition, of course, into the Nation of Islam. So, when did you become aware of the Melanics, and when did you step up?
I came aware of the Melanics in approximately 1980 or 1981. And I had an older brother that was in prison at that time, so we actually went to services. I went to Melanic services for about 2 years prior to stepping up and being a part of the organization. And the affiliation with the Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun and the Nation of Islam was embedded in my heart. And I tell you this based on what you just said. My first exposure to Islam was through the Honorable Farrakhan,
Yes, sir.
Minister Farrakhan, and his teachings. And when I got to be associated with the Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun, it gave me an opportunity to understand my upbringing of Christianity. And it just gave me the opportunity to make truths of what I heard on a spiritual level. I mean, in terms of the truth of all, whatever truth that I could draw out of all religions. And at that time, it just happened to be Islam and Christianity. And this religion, Melanic, the religion is designed to give all people of African descent a religious foundation in which they may enjoin their economical, their political, and their social concerns with a spiritual force necessary to rid our people of the vices that erodes the moral fibers of our community. Now, what that means to me is that I'm a rock of this community. I was born and raised in this community. And even though I helped put some destruction in this community at an age prior to coming inside of the Michigan Department of Corrections, I'm here now to bring a clarification, understanding that that ain't what I'm on. And I don't even associate with those that ain't like-minded in those terms about the uplifting of our community and our people. So
throughout them years, have many setbacks, challenges. I know it's kind of hard to point one, but what do you think was your biggest challenge when you was locked up?
my biggest challenge, wow, that's a deep question, man. Probably really understanding the will of Allah in terms of me as an individual, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I had no clue of a true dedication to something that I could not see. I could not see. I could not touch. I could not touch. So I think that was one of the main issues that I had to deal with.
So what do you think your biggest fear was in terms of not fear, but what do you think through the course of your incarceration, from when you came in, was something happened that changed the way you viewed yourself, people, or the world in general?
The main thing that actually affected me was in 2007 when my oldest nephew, was murdered out here. And I just gained a lot of empathy, remorse, and responsibility for the crimes that I committed and those that were truly affected by my actions. And I mean in terms of not just in my family, but in terms of how I affected my victims' family, how I affected the community. And I guess I was so naive that I never considered that for many decades while I was incarcerated. But once the life of my nephew was taken, it brought me to a new level of understanding, uh, not only spiritually, but the reality of my own actions. And I think at that time I was willing to really take responsibilities for my actions in taking the life of another human being.
How do you, because like I said, unfortunately, I did the same thing. I took a life, and the brother was 21 years old. And it still haunts me. Because I was asking myself, how can I do this work, but yet in knowing that I took a life of somebody that looked like me and it wasn't justified? Yes, he sold drugs, but the message I teach is we don't judge the individual until that person is dead. We really can't judge them then, but meaning that you can say this person led this type of life.
You're so right.
So while he was doing at that age, because I'm thinking I basically took the life of someone who could have been an asset not just to our community but to a nation.
Totally agree.
And so that even today, that still comes up in my mind. And I be doing this work, and I be like, you never know what a person could come, but yet I rob the individual of that.
Man, you are. It's funny how you and I have never talked about this.
Yeah.
But the association with the age of your victim,
Yes.
Coincide with the age of my victim. And there's no positive in saying this, but the fact of my victim was a Caucasian.
Yes.
And but it still don't take away the effect. What I have done and what I even recommend for you to do is really ask for forgiveness. Ask Allah for forgiveness for our actions, but also we should ask Allah for direction in curing that afterthought. Those I say satanic that keep uprising in me about that past crime, but I think that going on I'm going on 6 years in August of having my freedom.
Yes.
And it's important that I know that God is steering me in the right direction based on how he keeps me active in doing the work that we do here at Supreme Felons Incorporated. And it gives me a piece of mind. It gives me the ability to try to help many, because I took a life of one. And that keeps me grounded. It keeps me embedded in the truths and the ill effects of the community. And I'm just one person, and we only got so many employees that work part-time at our organization, yet there's a certain characteristic that you have to do this work. And I'm not surprised that everybody don't do it. And I don't consider myself nothing special, but this is mine. Doing this work, helping others, especially our people. It gives me nourishment. It gives me nutrition of who I really am. And it also gives me direction in which I praise God, as I should have done prior to even saying one word. Praise God for the opportunity to be here with you at this particular moment.
Yes.
So,
because we first met on Jackson on the yard, soft yard with 19. What was the 90? Was it 3?
I was there.
Hey, well, that's when they had a swimming pool, the big store was
Oh
open.
man, you was.
And that's the last time I seen you. I think I seen you. Yeah, I think that was the last time until I got out and ran into you up here. So, how did you make that transition to be associated with the Washington County Sheriff's Office?
Well, the truth of the matter, man, this wasn't by plan, but I want to touch back on when I first met you.
Yes.
and melancholy. It was a sense of connection through just your manhood. You stood on principles, and you was a silent guy.
Yeah.
You was very silent. And if a man know what he know, the silent one is usually the most dangerous. So whether you realize it or not, you were being paid attention to just with your character. And I think that's a contribute to the Nation of Islam and also your upbringing. Because, you had some of that coming in prison. So
Yes,
that in itself was a pleasure. And you asked me, you said, what now?
how did you be affiliated with?
Oh,
Because like come from my background, it's like I ain't about to deal with the police. So how did you make that connection, or how would you introduce and make you say, okay, yeah, I want to work for the Washington County Sheriff's Office?
now this is deep. While I was incarcerated, there's a guy that I grew up with, a couple years older with me. His name is Dickie Williams. I think I can freely say his name here. He worked for the sheriff department. And while I was incarcerated, guys from our community was coming to prison. Excuse me. And Dickie would write me or ask one of my family members to have me call him. And he would ask if I would keep an eye on the guys, man. And this happened for years. The guys would come in that I would either ask my brothers or ask those that I was cool with that was incarcerated to look out for those guys, because there was something that was lacking in them that would make them a target in prison.
Yes.
So that led to me coming out. I came out on my dad's birthday, August 8th, 2019. I immediately hooked up with a friend, and I started driving cars down here on Michigan Ave for $20 a car. Rain, sleet, snow, or shine. Baby, I was trying to make my five car quota to have $100 a day, because I was being paid $20 a car to transfer cars. From that, I went inside the factory in Saline, Farisha.
Y'all were throwing us in the
I
factory.
can't never pronounce it right, but nevertheless, I stayed in there, worked 12 hours a day, 3 a.m. to 3 in the afternoon, and I just decided one day I couldn't do that. That wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't the atmosphere that I wanted to be associated with at that portion. Called Dickie back. Now's the time, his opportunity to do me a favor, since I've been doing all these favors for him. He called me up to the Washington County Sheriff's Office, the outreach, and gave me an application, like a 50-page application, filled it out, volunteered for 8 months without getting paid. And what that done for me is that it reunited me back into the community that I came. I've been gone for so long that I was not really aware, or those that didn't know me. Fortunately, I had family that was out here throughout those 43 years, 11 months, and 23 days that kept me in good standards within the community. We are, my name is Cole. We have a lot of association with other families within this particular geographic area. So it was quick. I saw a lot of the ills that was being applied to our community. We are the eastern side of the county. Ann Arbor, Michigan is the western side of the county. Ann Arbor, the county, is a very rich county in resources. Matter of fact, Washington County is the second richest county with resources in the state of Michigan. So that's just to give you an idea of what I saw firsthand. I saw the separation in sharing resources. So through Marv Gundy, I met Derek Jackson, And
Billy Cole. Yeah, he was a recruit from Richard Williams, Dickey, CO from the jail. Knew Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole was an individual that if your family entered the system, the MDOC, they would probably be getting in touch with Billy Cole somehow, some way to try to help that individual understand what the road ahead was going to be like. So he was already a guide for individuals going to prison. So I heard this from the community over the years. So it was, a no-brainer for me to want to meet this individual for him to come help me out at the sheriff's office. I'm Marvin Gundy. I'm the outreach coordinator for the sheriff.
he gave me an interview, and like I say, I was able to do this work without getting paid for several months. At the time, Sheriff G.R.E.Y Clayton saw interest in me and decided that he wanted to hire me after that 8 months of volunteer work, in which I do appreciate it. Shout out to Sheriff G.R.E.Y Clayton. Shout out to Jerry Jackson. But as you stated, that connection with the police, that's why it was so important to me that when I was part of originating this program, that there was a true distinction of separation between the two.
That's right.
We practice it, we let it be known, and we tell those that within our community. We are not police. We do not share information with police. And 9 times out of 10, ain't no police gonna be around us anyhow.
That's right.
And that's just true fact.
Yes.
But I must say that as a citizen, and a man that really respect law, that we do respect law enforcement, but that don't mean we have to associate with them.
Yeah.
So
I want to thank you for even opening up the door, because you were the first one to ever go inside the jail and open up the door. And like, it's crazy to go in there now and sit on the blocks, talk to the men, talk to women, and it's like, I ain't gonna say it feel easy, but it's comfortable. Because it's different than you talk to them through a glass bulletproof window.
Yes,
you
sir.
Sitting down, whether y'all watch TV, y'all just kicking it, and because you know, it's like, I know being locked up, people come to you with intention like they're gonna help you, and they be lies, and it's so much disappointment. So that's why by you laying our foundation and allowing me the privilege to come back, now I got to keep that same foundation going. Because once your word is tarnished, all it takes is one time, and it spread like wildfire. And it's crazy how when I go in there, and one brother say, "Man, you the police?" I ain't no police. He was like, "Why was Supreme Felon?" I said, "Brother, I helped start Supreme Felon. I was there."
Sure did.
And the brother whole demeanor changed.
It changed,
yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
Because they know supreme felons, and they know the character of men we have.
Yeah.
And you fit that category.
Yes, sir.
You fit it in structure, you fit it in character, you fit it in the way you move, man. That's how come I had a great appreciation for them hiring you.
Yeah.
And you followed in the footsteps in which they allowed me to be the torch carrier.
Yes.
Because I had to do all that on parole.
Yeah.
I had to get permission to work for the sheriff's office. I had to get permission to enter the county jails.
Yeah.
And in terms of the you seeing guys now, and we on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
It just makes us more empathetic towards the issues. And we are not those social workers that's only taking your name and putting you on papers. When we were dealing with individuals of incarceration, we made a point of not being a liar.
That's right.
So the resources that we had to be up to date. And when we told the guy, look, when you get out, you come down here, we're going to get you this, we're going to get you that. It was important that we were about our business on that tip.
That's right.
Because our community has been so crisscross, faked out, boogeyman, whatever, based on those coming in our community from outside our community saying they can cure our ills. And they really don't. They only make it worse. And then we as individuals from the street, if we see something that we can play off of or take advantage of for that short period of time, then we do that.
Yeah.
And by right, you should. But what we have implemented, and I got to include you in this, Malachi, is that we have brought a lived experience into this work. And I think that those that's calling the shots, the politicians, those that's the law enforcement, they actually see the reality of success of those with lived experience working with those that are experiencing those offenses
Yeah.
and things of that nature.
So Supreme Felons, let's talk about that.
Hmm.
How did we get here?
Hmm.
From the car wash to a suite.
You remember.
Yes, sir.
I think really we was a group of brothers just trying to find our way to help to do something within our community. One, we saw seniors that nobody had concern about. That's how come we start going to these shelters, getting food transported to those within our community that need it. We saw the need for a wraparound service in reentry, meaning those coming in society. They need to understand that there's collateral damages with each individual that enters society. And what we do, knowing that we try to plant the seed of sustainability. See, you come out here, man, with nothing, even if you got some, even if you got family members that's looking out, everybody ain't gonna look out forever. You're gonna have to stand on your own feet.
That's right.
At some time. So that's really why I lay with that. And the word Supreme Felons was birthed out the word supreme. It's simply the definition of supreme within the dictionary, the Webster. And I must say that a lot of our thought process in creating this organization was based on our history in Islam. I must say that.
Yes.
And specifically, I want to say the Nation of Islam has been more than welcoming, not only to the Millennium Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun, but it was strange how our character and our teachings actually coincided with each other. And I'm sure you remember when our organization was listed as a threat group.
Yes. I was labeled STG2.
See there?
And one, yes.
And who accepted us? Who allowed us to continue to get the knowledge of Allah? It was the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
Whether those say it, I know I was
Yeah.
part of it. It was 1999 when they declared the Millennium Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun a threat group inside the Michigan Department of Corrections.
Yes.
And would nobody accept us? They wouldn't even allow us to practice our religion.
That's right.
But the Nation of Islam, man, embraced us with full arm and
Yeah.
praise Allah to all of you brothers standing 10 toes down, man.
That's
And
right.
I must add,
Yes, sir.
the 5%ers.
Mm-hmm. Got to.
Being around those brothers and learning the understanding of their teachings brought me as an individual to another level of understanding Islam. So,
Yes. So Supreme Fellas and what is considered or is, I would say, a lily white community,
whoa,
Ann Arbor.
it's rough, man.
And like I said, I done went to the fence of Supreme Fellas when I was working somewhere else in terms of they was like, why they call us Supreme Felons? The name Felons Supreme is a bad image, but yet they sit in the billboards or they suites, they offices, they don't hit the streets. So my question to you is, how is it to have to be in a town like this, not Ipsy, but working in Ann Arbor, and have to fight those who say they for reentry, but try to cut you at the knees?
I'm not gonna say it's easy, man. I mean, I go home every night, and I'm human. So all the rhetoric, the hatred, and things of that nature, man. Sometimes it's hard to digest, but the reality is that I come from a cloth that ain't scared,
That's right.
and it ain't even about me. It's about being able to be in a position to best serve our community. And Malachi, you was a part of this. We was never looking for any funding.
Yeah.
We was never looking for any thing from anybody. We just took it upon ourselves. We were coming out our pocket just to help. And seemed like every time we helped, there was more people saying, thank you. We appreciate you guys. That was the momentum.
Yeah.
You were there. You helped deliver food. You helped do assessments on brothers coming out of prison. You knew and had personal experience, even though you was from the city, of the need of the seniors. And that's what birthed our neighborhood watch team, which is a team of brothers that are actually born and raised in this community, byproducts of this community, understand the hot zones of this community, and be able to walk and knock on people's doors when their children, when their nephews, when their brothers are out here in this mischief in attempt to bring a resolution to whatever the issues is without what? Gunfire or us hurting each other.
That's why Mr. Farrakhan said we have to make our community a safe and decent place to live. But you can't have fear. You're going to get pushback even from your own people. But he's saying that your love has to be stronger than their hatred for you. Like I said, it's not about you. He said we in the business of being servants, we have to be selfless. Meaning, like you said, it's not about us. It's about those that we're trying to help.
Man, you hit the nail on the head, because the truth of the matter, that's what drew those that's in some politicians and elected officials that are really serious about the success of our community.
Yes.
They noticed the work in which Supreme Felons was doing. We never asked for a dime. They said, you guys need to be funded for the work that you've done or that you're doing. Therefore, we were able to file for one grant.
Yeah.
We received $1.2 million to do the work that we've been doing on that grant since 2022.
And all that hate came out.
That's when the hate really came out. Man, we got the banker over here resenting.
Yeah.
This sap has actually said that we are some radical mafia group. He's Italian. He know how Italians move, and Supreme Felons move like a mafia group. This guy is right next door, but he's just one of many in which we haven't even responded to. None of the negativity has ever had an effect on us doing our work. Because if we pay attention to the negativity, we can't do the work of positive things within the community. We ain't got time for it. So say what you may, but those that know, you know.
So how do you feel networking and communication, relationship, how you think that was a big help in terms of Supreme Felons continue to move the way it's moving?
Well, I think the only way we're able to move the way we move right now because we have had many successes in each of those pillars. Supreme Felons is an organization that has an umbrella of community violence intervention. That's our umbrella. Under that umbrella, we have 4 pillars of programming, which consist of reentry, our returning citizens, our senior support program, our neighborhood watch program, and our mentorship program, which mentor from 8 to 21. But nevertheless, being affiliated with all of these programs has opened us up to really serve the community in which we live, really expose them to the resources that they have no knowledge of. And that's the pleasure of doing this work, is being able to connect our community with the resources that can best fit their needs. So that in itself is look, man, everything I say, everything I do, everything that I've been able to accomplish, it's not me. It's God. I had no intentions on doing this type of work. You know, Malachi, you know me. I mean, I don't think I'm understated that I'm a leader, always have been a leader, in a position of leadership, but it's because of the respect that I have for the religion and that I stand on, but more so the faith I have in God.
Yes. So what is next 5 years? Where do you see Supreme Felons? I can say 5. Everybody say 5 years. Don't say the next 2 years. Where do you see Supreme Felons?
I see Supreme Felons branching out in other communities. We've already touched a few communities, and we have a association with those brothers in the city of Detroit that's actually been doing this work on a more heavy level as far as community violence intervention and some of the pillars in which I just mentioned. But where do I see? I see an expansion first statewide. I've connected with Jackson, Grand Rapids, Flint, Saginaw, just to name a few, in which we intend to give them the seeds of how to get started in this work. And what we say is, first, it starts with the individuals within your community. It has to be those that work in your community. The initiative, they have to come from the community. Those that do the work in the community have to come from the community. Now, we can bring on anybody else, but we feel the shortcut to success is relationships. And what better relationship to have with, other than with someone that done watch you grow up, you done watch grow up, been a mentor to you in the years. So we intend to expand this not only throughout the state, but to others, communities throughout the nation. With this work that we do, we feel the sauce is contained with those within the community. 1. 2, the sauce is those that's truly committed to the work. And as you know, and I ain't gonna make light of this situation, everybody can't be a Supreme Felon. It's certain criteria you must have and certain criteria you can't have.
That's right.
You cannot be a man that has done any crime to a woman or a child. Unfortunately, that's where we lay.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter, when I was incarcerated, I really didn't want to know guys' crime because I didn't want to.
I'm the same way.
You didn't want to know, because if I done got cool with this guy, then I find, or all right, and I find out that he had a crime that was associated with harm or destruction with a woman, a baby, or a girl, that automatically shut me from that relationship. So that's just real.
It's correct. That's why when I go in the jail, I don't ask someone volunteer.
You can't ask.
I don't ask, but it's correct. A lot of people, my first time went inside jail, of course, I started in the booth.
Yes, you did. We
and
there.
It seemed like the first week, everything that I'm against individual, and they took it lightly. Or they put their hands on a woman, and I'm like, and I looked and said, this is my test. So that's why I have to put my personal feelings aside. And it's hard.
It's very hard.
Because some of the guys just want to grab them by the neck, but say, you can't.
But that's the difference. If you remember when me, you, and Centra was going inside the county jails, man, that was one of my fear factors too. Yeah. But I knew if I was committed to doing the work, through that period of offering resources, we had to put that in the back of our minds.
Yes.
Because we had to treat everybody and do a correct assessment on them. But now we're talking about two different things. We're talking about doing our job and doing our job.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of after we got through with our job and we was actually associated with supreme felons, we knew who we was connected with. We knew these brothers was not associated with different different crimes.
Yeah.
So
in closing, what did you got any closing remarks?
Man,
Or any words of wisdom you want to give to the community?
I don't know about words of wisdom, Malachi. I just really go with the flow.
Yes.
Of having appreciation for the opportunity to showcase and be a part of your demonstration here. And as I told you prior to us coming on camera, man, I am so amazed at your ability to do this. And I studied you for like 3 days on YouTube, man. I was like, damn, I didn't even know you had this in him. He always, but you're good. But hopefully, and my prayers are with you, that you continue to thrive down the road that you're doing, man, to bring recognition and knowledge, not only to those that's incarcerated, but those of us out here that have experienced trials and tribulations of reintegrating outside ourselves back into society, man. Because we're citizens, bro.
That's right.
We're citizens. But more so, we black men.
All praise due to Allah.
I'm doing a lot.